Hello, welcome to Infield Fly, episode 2, the best one so far. My name's Jonah White. Let's turn it over to the host of the podcast, Tommy Hodgkins.
Thank you, Jonah. I appreciate that. Co-host, as you are my fellow co-host.
Appreciate that.
I'm excited to be back. Talk some baseball. We got the MLB season right around the corner. You know, pitchers and catchers have reported for spring training. What does that mean to you?
Spring is in the air.
I know. It is.
I mean, it's just like, we're going to be seeing, I'm going to be seeing Gary, Keith, and Ron at Citi Field, and some things change and some things stay the same. At baseball, opening day, it's really a day unlike any other, and the countdown is on. I think it's kind of the era in between the start of spring training and opening day.
Yeah, I agree. Can I read you a John Feinstein passage here about spring training? I think it's beautiful.
But please, if you care to, please tell me who John Feinstein is.
John Feinstein, the late and great sports writer. He wrote a lot of. He wrote for the. I don't know. He was located in Maryland for a little bit, but he was a legendary writer, at least in the DC area. He wrote a lot of books. He wrote a book where he followed Tom Glavine with the Mets.
Former Met.
Yeah, with the Mets and Mike Mussina with the Yankees in 2007 over the course of the whole season. It was called Living on the Black, a really good book. But there's a passage from that book that I think is great, and it reads, quote, "Pitchers and catchers report. It is one of those sports phrases that true baseball fans understand has magical qualities. That is the day each year that baseball fans look forward to because it is so full of symbolic meaning. It signals the return of baseball and the approaching end of winter. Exhibition games will soon be played in Florida and in Arizona, and later real games will begin. There will be standings to peruse, box scores to examine, and that day's probable pitchers to speculate about." I think that sums up the beginning of spring training really well. There's so much possibility out there.
So much possibility. Every team can dream of winning the World Series. Remember when the Mets did a mock World Series celebration at the end of spring training?
Yeah,
that was last year, or maybe a year before that. But it was pretty great.
I don't know if that was a great look for them, honestly.
But they were happy, and we were happy as
you're happy in your fantasy world, I guess. Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
very exciting times, though. We can certainly agree on that. Exciting times.
And we got a few recent transactions that in baseball. Notably, the Phillies released Nick Castellanos.
What did he do?
I don't know. Well, the Padres, just like days later, the Padres picked him up for the league minimum. The Phillies are going to be paying like 95% of that contract. So I think that's a good pickup for the Padres. Yeah,
Nick Castellanos, I have it here what he did, it turns out. You probably would have heard this by now. He got pulled from a game for defense. I guess they were winning, and he's not known for his defense.
No, definitely not.
But he was like in Florida, and his family was there or something. So he was very upset. So he brought a beer into the dugout in the ninth inning, and it seems like the Phillies didn't take to that very well. So I have two questions. First question is, did he actually do anything wrong? Let's say you're pulled from a game, Tommy. You're in the major leagues. You get pulled from a game because you're not good at defense, and you bring a beer into the dugout. I'm struggling to see the problem with that.
Yeah, you know me. I would have done the same. It's a hot summer's day. What else is he supposed to do? He's off the clock now.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do?
What are you doing? You're off the clock.
Yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth back in his time, they would get plastered in the dugout, and Nick Castellanos just trying to enjoy his day.
Yeah, I bet Babe Ruth wasn't that good at defense either.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah. Castellanos might be faster than Ruth, but yeah.
But, yeah, I think this one says more about the Phillies than it does about Castellanos.
I know. Well, and the Phillies, not a great offseason for them, and this just adds to the list.
I heard that some players didn't want to go there, and they signed with the division rivals instead.
Mr. Bichette.
Mr. Bichette, yeah, he decided he would rather go to the Mets. A smart decision, some would say. And if you were to bring a beer into the dugout in the middle of a game, what kind of beer would it be?
So I would have to go with I don't know how popular of a pick this is, but the Sam Adams Summer Ale.
Yeah, not that popular. Maybe in Boston.
Maybe in Boston that's a popular pick. I that just tastes like summer. They also have a whole summer pack that they've done the last 2 years that I'm a big fan of. So yeah, the Sam Adams Summer Ale or the Sam Adams Porch Radler also part of that summer pack. What about you?
It depends on the region. If I'm the road team in Milwaukee, maybe a Miller is not a good idea, for
True.
example, because you don't want to be, signaling
Right.
allegiance with the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So then maybe this wouldn't be the answer in LA, but I think my default would be a Modelo.
Oh, okay, nice. That's a very refreshing beer in the summer, so I like that pick.
He was bringing in, I read, he brought in a Presidente from, which I've never had before.
Oh, Castellanos.
Yeah.
Was. Oh, okay.
Interesting. Sure.
Got him. I have to, in honor of Nick Castellanos, to check that out.
When the Padres come to town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much room there is in that starting lineup for Castellanos in San Diego, but even if he's like coming in and facing lefties against lefty pitchers, maybe pinch hitting spots, that's still a pretty good bat. He still has a good bat despite his other athletic shortcomings. So let's see other recent transactions. Justin Verlander is back in Detroit. I like that move. We talked last week about Framber Valdez helping out that rotation. Justin Verlander, he kind of still has it. I'm gonna look up his stats from last year, but the homecoming I think is great. We grew up watching Justin Verlander just like be one of the best pitchers we've ever seen. Former Met for half a year, yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I saw that notification, I just like pictured him in that Tigers uniform again, and thought it was really cool. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on the Verlander signing?
It's cool to see the Tigers good again. I think at some point, we'll talk about having guests on in the podcast, but one of our friends here nearby is a big Tigers fan, and I think that, it's almost nostalgic, not just with Verlander, but just in general with the Detroit Tigers being a good team. My formative years as a baseball fan, maybe 2007 to 13 or whatever, and the Tigers obviously were one of the, even though they didn't win a World Series, they're one of the best teams, and I think that they're an important franchise, and it's cool to see. Like, I felt the same way with McCutchen going back to the Pirates. I kind of like a full circle. Jose Reyes going back to the Mets, a full circle situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and last year with the San Francisco Giants, Justin Verlander had a 3.85 ERA in 152 innings. So not bad. He can still help out that Tiger squad. And what that made me think of was Max Scherzer, another former
Met.
He's also still a free agent. As a Nats fan, I think I don't think he's pitching at the same level as Verlander right now. And so like not many people are gonna want Scherzer. I think that the Nats signed Miles Mikolas. They need innings eaters. They need people to eat innings. I think Max Scherzer back on the Nats would be a cool reunion. It'll sell tickets. It'll get people to the stadium. So I think Paul Taboni needs to make that happen in Washington.
So moving on, not necessarily quite as significant, just another sampling of the transactions. Gary Sanchez and Chris Bassett both going to the Orioles recently. And a trivia question for you, Tommy. What do they both have in common, Gary Sanchez and Chris Bassett?
Are they both former Mets?
They are both former Mets.
Let's go.
Nicely done. You got it.
Yeah, Gary Sanchez, I'm not sure how he fits in that squad with Adley Rutschman and obviously they have the young guy. His name's eluding me right now, but great catching prospect. But Chris Bassett the Orioles definitely needed pitching help, and so Chris Bassett is a good addition. So I like that.
I hope the Orioles are good this year. Obviously, our old friend Pete Alonso we'll be rooting for him all season. But it's sad.
Not me, you will.
It was sad. We will. But it was sad that the Orioles were not good last season. I thought. Small market team. Been beat up on. They were set a magical year 2 years ago. Lost in the division series. So disappointing last year. So I hope that they're able to bounce back, especially now that they've got at least three former Mets on their team right now.
Wow.
Actually, It was Rico Garcia. I don't know if he's still there, but that would be 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll see. That's going to be a great division this year. The Orioles obviously were a little disappointing last year. Some of their players got bit by the injury bug. So I'm excited to see how these teams fight it out in the AL East. It'll be a good one.
Oh, before we move on to some other interesting issues, anything else that you want to say about where we are now? Obviously, still plenty of time between now and opening day, but thoughts on recent developments or generally that you maybe didn't get a chance to share last week?
I mean, like we talked about, spring training starting is kind of pretty symbolic of the beginning of the season. I'm just really excited. And we talked last week about the World Baseball Classic coming up soon.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that on the next couple episodes for sure.
Yeah, and so I think it's just really exciting to have all of these things on the horizon. Especially, it's been a while since we watched the last World Series game in late October. So
don't remind me.
Yeah, we'll be back and watching baseball soon, and maybe catch some exhibition spring training games.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's move on to something interesting, Tommy. This isn't necessarily breaking news. It broke last summer, but it's an ongoing developing story, and there was a development last week in the Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz gambling story. The indictment became unsealed within the last week, and some colorful details, you could say, were part of it, including some of the messages that Clase exchanged with his co-conspirators, one of which was throw a rock at the first rooster, which I think meant throw the first pitch into the dirt.
Which is
which is what he did.
Kind of cool code there. Throw a rock at the first rooster.
Well, I think I know where he got it from. Apparently, he was into rooster fighting.
Oh my God!
Back in the Dominican Republic.
Jeez.
Back home. So I guess that's where he got the very clever. I guess it didn't fool everybody, but
yeah, it didn't fool them when. There were thousands of dollars being placed on that pitch.
Yeah, and there was more. I don't know. There was a lot more quotes, but it was a lot of rocks and roosters and things of that nature. And
yeah,
and the other thing, and it's not novel, and it's the idea that an athlete can make decisions that are so irrational in the name of gambling and stuff. But just the contrast that the sum total of the winnings. Not even Class A's winnings, but his conspirators' winnings, of which I guess he got a portion, was $450,000. To me, that's a pretty good amount of money. But he would have made $6 million, even more money. Not the best at math, but that's a lot more money.
It's definitely more.
He would have made more money in 2026 than he would have made on these, rigged pitches that he threw. So, I don't know. It's just why?
Yeah, it's kind of like unfathomable why anyone would make this decision. I think it was 2024. He had maybe the best reliever season of all time. Like, even after this current contract expires, he was going to get paid a lot of money. And so, yeah, for him to do this is, just kind of unbelievable. And one thing you cited with those messages was that article from The Athletic that kind of revealed the messages. One thing that stood out to me from that article, Clase is accused of throwing 2 rigged pitches in 2024 as well, including one on October 5th in the 9th inning of the Guardians' Game 1 win against the Tigers in the ALDS. So he's rigging pitches in the 9th inning of a playoff game. I don't know. This is just like a crazy story. I like never thought I would see anything like this. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy and interesting things about this. I think he got the save. He wound up dominating that inning that you're talking about, but obviously it's still crazy. And consider the fact that he would have got $6 million this year, and then I believe been a free agent and probably tripled his salary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
$6 million would have been an underpayment on the last year of his contract with the way he's been playing. So I mean, he was. Now consider the fact that he was throwing balls in the dirt on purpose.
Right.
But he was one of the best. It's not a stretch at all to say he's one of the best relief pitchers in the league the past few years, and there's no reason he wouldn't have been. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting to think about how irrational, somebody could have been. If he's wanted to give his friends money that badly, he could have just given him the $500K and got $5.5 million this year. But, there's something that, about psychology. It's happened in the past. It's going to happen again, I think. And this is more of a broader conversation we don't have to all the way get into about gambling. But I think this type of thing, baseball or other sports, is going to happen again and more with the proliferation of gambling. But it's just, it's kind of fascinating to see somebody at the top of the sport, at the top of his position, just throw it all away for a tiny fraction of the money that he's making anyway.
Yeah, and just for comparison here, Edwin Diaz, sorry to bring it up, but Edwin Diaz signed a 3-year contract this offseason with the Dodgers. He's making an average of $18.5 million over those 3 years.
There's no way the Mets couldn't match that.
Emmanuel Clase is 5 years younger than Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
Arguably better. And so that's the market being set. So Clase would have probably been paid well over $20 million a year if he had entered free agency in the form that he's in. So yeah, he's threw away a lot of money, but just by making these stupid rigged pitches. And like you said, like he could have just paid his friends with that money instead of rigging bets. I really can't believe it.
Right. It's not about the financial windfall. It's about something else.
It's about the thrill.
Yeah. Which is quite strange just for somebody that's unbelievably good at pitching.
Yeah.
His trial starts in May, and this was a 29-page indictment. It's not just the fact that he's not making this money. He's in bigger trouble than that. And then another footnote, well, not necessarily a footnote, but a part of the article is Luis Ortiz, who was also a pretty good pitcher, not as the caliber of Clase, a good pitcher for the Guardians who was in this as well, and it sounds like Clase was kind of leading it. Ortiz claims that he was a victim. We don't know what's the case, what's going to happen at trial. I don't know. I guess to me, like, you got to be able to think for yourself.
Yeah.
but
I'm not sure. I didn't really.
Happens.
Yeah, we'll see how that trial shakes out. But yeah, it's not a great look for Clase or Ortiz. It's not a great look.
Yeah, I talked about this briefly last week, but just another things kind of looking forward to getting for the season. I'm always intrigued, a lot. Most things stay the same from baseball season to season. One thing that's new, though, is ABS, automatic ball strike system, where you'll be able to challenge a call, I want to say 3 times a game or something like that. And then if you get it right, you keep it.
Yes.
And so I'm intrigued. I haven't watched a lot of games where it's been in effect personally, so I'm intrigued how it's going to work. I guess it's going to reduce some of the most egregious calls for sure. Mm-hmm. It'll reduce some of the arguing over balls and strikes, but I think it's probably not going to fix everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You've kind of like described yourself as like a
skeptic,
a traditionalist,
yes,
right?
Even better word.
Yeah. So, would you say? I mean, obviously, there's you'll probably work your way through your opinion on it the more you see it. But yeah, right now as it stands, are you kind of pro, anti, or are you kind of like not decided yet?
I'm anti. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan of other sports. I compare it to soccer. I've been a fan of that sport for a long time, almost as much as baseball. And they brought in, video assistant referee, and they were late to bring in replay relative to the other sports in America. And it's just not really solved that much. It's people are arguing to get rid of it. They're probably not going to get rid of it, but it's just, as a fan, in my personal opinion, forget other, people have different thoughts. I don't think it's enhanced my own experiences as fan, even though they get more calls right, because there's not this spontaneity of a goal going in and then they take 5 minutes and they rule it out. Same thing, you're going to have a strikeout to end the inning with the bases loaded, and the batter's going to say, wait, no, let's take a look at it, and you're going to wait 15 seconds. This is going to happen. You're going to wait 15 seconds. Everybody's going to be looking up at the Jumbotron, and it's going to be, oh, actually, it was just a little bit outside, so we're going to do it all over again. And now, instead of the drama happening on the pitch and the swing and the call, as it's been for 150 years, it's going to be you wait, and the drama is looking at the artificial line on the Jumbotron. So that's kind of the crux of my issue with it.
Yeah, I would say I disagree with you on that a little bit. I think that
shocker.
Yeah, I haven't not like seen the ABS system in action all that much either. I remember watching it in the All-Star game last year. But I think that yeah, I think just it seems like a seamless way to do this replay system, at least from what I've heard and read. I don't think these challenges are going to take 15 seconds. I think they'll take around 5 seconds. We'll see how it does, and if we get data on that when the season starts. But I think that the only way that it could work is if it is a kind of that seamless, very quick and efficient replay system. And I'm not opposed. I don't think anyone should be opposed to getting more calls right, no matter what. I think my biggest holdback of it is how it affects catching framing, because catching defense is obviously an art, and framing is a huge part of that. And framing will still be a part of the game, because not every borderline pitch is going to be challenged. But it does kind of it will kind of sting when you that first time you see a catcher frame a strike really well, and then they challenge it and it's clearly a ball. That might take the beauty of the framing away. But other than that, I would say I'm mostly positive on the ABS as of now.
Yeah, that bothers me too. I think that framing, I think most baseball fans would agree, is a legitimate part of the game and has always been a something where a catcher could bring value to a team. I came across a Joe Mauer jersey in the thrift store yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Thought of one of the greatest pitch framers we've ever seen. Is it still going to be a thing? Yes. Is it going to be valuable? I would argue no. I think that it's going to be I got some I never turned my headphones off.
It's where's the music coming from?
Yeah. Nice soundtrack. No, it's going to be I think it's going to lose a lot of its value.
Yeah, well, I mean, because like I said, it's not every pitch that's going to be. It's just going to be a few pitches a game that are going to be challenged. And I think a big thing for me is that this system's been used and tested in minor league baseball for at least 1 or 2 years and has been received very positively from that space. So I think that's a big reason why I'm really very open to seeing how this system plays out and how it affects baseball.
Yeah, I think that I think from players' perspective, I could certainly see benefits and such, but I think, it's just, you're becoming, with stolen bases have made a little bit of a resurgence recently, but compared to 20 years ago, the catcher has gone from a premium defensive position to almost a glorified DH. And that's just something that, as a fan, that bothers me a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. But and then another thing that I've lost. So I'm forgetting. So I don't have anything else.
Yeah, we're getting up there in age, Tommy.
Yeah,
you and me
I know.
both.
I know.
All right, it's time for my favorite part of the podcast. It's called Stump Tommy, and the way it works is I ask a question that is possible to answer, but extremely difficult, with the only goal of Tommy not getting it right. So the question is, there's a hint there for you if you can figure out what it means.
Okay.
That's on the document, the string of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Who got the save the first time the Nationals played at Citi Field?
Okay. The numbers I'm seeing are 42409. And you said this is the first time the Nats won at Citi Field?
No, they didn't win. How would they?
Oh.
How would?
Oh, okay.
How would then?
Okay. I see.
Nats. How would there be a
the
save?
first time they played at Citi Field.
Right. Well, or sorry. Why would I ask you the question?
Oh yeah, if it was a Nat. So I'm
that's another
interpreting
hint.
those numbers as this was April 24th, 2009.
Okay, it's pretty smart, pretty clever.
Okay.
But the hard part is who got the save.
Yeah, I know. Well, so
I'll give
now
you a
I have
hint.
to reach
The
in.
Mets won the game.
Okay, yeah, so now I have to reach into my 2009 Mets knowledge. This would have been a little easier if it was 2009 Nats.
I
So
was looking at the box score of the game. Scott Olson
oh, nice.
started the game for the Nationals.
Nice. That's a good. I love that.
It was
Do you know who started for the Mets?
Johan Santana.
Nice. That's a great. What a dealer. He was a great pitcher. I'm stumped.
You stumped. How about that? 2 for 2. Tommy is stumped. The answer is Francisco Rodriguez.
Oh, K-Rod. Is that K-Rod himself?
Yeah, he gave up a 2-run home run to somebody,
Uh-huh.
and then he got the save.
Oh, there you go. Wow. I'm gonna have to look more into this game after we end this.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Maybe watch some highlights.
I think I forgot what else happened, but I do remember that. It was 4-1, and then he gave up a 2-run home run to some guy who clearly wasn't that important because I don't remember who his name is, and then he got the save, and the Mets won 4-3.
Wow.
Not a great season for the Mets. 2009, but still good enough to beat the Nats.
Here we go. The home run was hit. Oh my God. This home run was hit by catcher Jesus Flores. I think he might have been our backup at that time, but I do remember him very, very vividly. I had his baseball card.
Wow.
Jesus Flores. Wow.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Not quite enough for the Nats on this night.
Yeah. So,
all right.
yeah. Is anything else you got?
For our segment? Yes, I do. I don't know if you saw I put a name down there.
I see.
And so it's more of a this is sort of a trivia question, not the official trivia question of the show. That already happened. But how many Major League Baseball team names are mentioned in Taylor Swift songs?
Baseball team names.
Like Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays. How many?
I don't know if anything's coming to mind right now.
It's a pretty hard question.
Yeah, because I know she mentions Philadelphia Eagles, not a baseball team.
All right, so
clearly.
they're not mentioned in the context of the team. Just the names.
Oh, okay,
Yankees,
okay.
Orioles, Mets,
Does
Nationals.
national count? Singular.
So that was so there's two ways of doing it. There's one is you could just count the actual team name, which is plural, of which I only have 2.
Okay.
And if you want to count the singular, where it's different parts of speech for all sorts of, there's all different parts of speech. But for example, singular would be Red Sox, which is not one of them.
Right.
Then it goes up to 8.
Okay.
But it's confusing because they're not all nouns.
Right. Okay. So national is going to be one of those 8.
It's not. Not as far as I could find.
Okay.
She did a collaboration with the National Coney Island.
Coney Island. Yeah, there you go.
But in terms of it being, and this is subject to change. I did my best.
Just off the top of your head.
Well, and help from the World Wide Web. But
okay. So red, obviously.
that's one. I had that down there as an adjective.
In the song 7, does she mention pirates?
Does. That's one of the real ones. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Deep cut.
Deep cut.
That was the what inspired me to come up with this endeavor.
That's my favorite album, Folklore. So
yeah.
She definitely says brave at the very least.
She does. State of Grace.
Oh, there you go. Angels.
What's the song? Actually, there's a few options here.
I'm not sure.
One of them is my favorite song, Tommy.
Your favorite song is from Red.
It's the lucky one.
The lucky one.
The Angel City.
Oh, okay.
Also, Cruel Summer and White Horse.
Oh, angels?
Have specific mentions of actual angels. So those angels and pirates are the two that perfect ones.
Mm-hmm. How many more were singular?
4, and probably only one of which is even possible to get.
Giant?
No. Actually, almost these 4, because none of them are... one of them's an adjective, one of them's a verb, one of them's a noun, but it's in one of the most obscure songs, and one of them's a last name that's in an even more obscure song. So,
okay, you want to reveal them to me?
Yeah, okay. So, Bobby Ray is mentioned in both of us, which is like a weird song, and I think it's not even Taylor that says it, but according to the internet, that's one. Way to Go Tiger is a lyric in Robin.
Okay. Wow.
I remember the night that we first met.
Okay. True.
It's from Paper Rings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the word met comes in a couple other cases.
Yeah.
And did the twin flame bruise paint you blue?
Oh, right.
Of course, from All Too Well.
Yeah, the 10-minute version.
Yeah. So
nice.
I thought that was a good way to close out the podcast.
Like that. That was a good one. All right.
We'll update the list. I'll see if maybe there's a couple more.
Okay, we'll have to do our due diligence there.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I mean, last week we named a baseball player. Name a baseball player.
David Wright.
David Fry.
Okay.
Well, that is all we have for you on today's episode of Infield Fly. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week on Infield Fly.